When the alien princess saw my tattoo, her voice shook. "So that's you, human." The small hum of the repair bay filled the air, blending with the hiss of cooling engines and the soft clatter of metal tools. Jace worked with careful precision, wiping grease from his hands on a rag as he adjusted the wiring of the ship's thrusters. The vessel was old, scratched, and patched more times than he could remember, but it still flew, and that was what mattered. He liked working alone. The noise, the grease, the smell of fuel, it all made him feel in control, even if the galaxy outside his little corner of the port was anything but. He flexed his fingers and rubbed the back of his neck, glancing down at his forearm. The tattoo, faint but clear, traced intricate lines across his skin. It wasn't just a decoration. It was a map, or maybe a message, a link to something long ago. Sometimes he wondered why he had it, why his parents had let him keep it, why it seemed to draw attention without him understanding it. Most of the time, people didn't notice, but every now and then, someone would stare a little too long. Today, it felt different. Today, it felt like the universe had just shifted around him. The bay doors slid open with a hiss, and Jace froze mid-motion. He wasn't expecting anyone, certainly not anyone who moved with the calm authority of someone who commanded attention without saying a word. Through the smoke of exhaust and heat, a group of beings stepped in, their forms sleek and regal, their presence impossible to ignore. They didn't walk, they glided. Their armor shimmered with colors that seemed almost liquid, shifting with each movement. At the front of the group was a female figure, whose aura made the hairs on the back of Jace's neck stand on end. Her skin glowed faintly, a soft iridescence that caught the dim light of the bay, and her eyes held the depth of a galaxy, swirling with knowledge and something else, something dangerous. She looked at him, really looked at him, and he felt like she could see inside him, past the sweat, the grease, the ordinary human shell, straight into something deeper. She stopped a few steps away, and for the first time, Jace noticed the small detail that made his chest tighten. Her gaze fell on his forearm, where the tattoo traced patterns of stars and lines. Her lips parted slightly, and for a moment the sound she made wasn't a word. It was a shiver, a ripple of something that seemed out of place for someone who otherwise commanded perfection. Then she spoke, her voice low and quivering just enough to betray shock. "So, that's you, human." The words hung in the air, almost fragile, and Jace's heart jumped. He tried to swallow, tried to focus on the engine in front of him, but his hands shook slightly as he set down the tools. "Excuse me?" he asked, his voice steadier than he felt. He hadn't expected recognition. He hadn't expected awe or fear or whatever that was in her eyes. The other aliens around her remained poised, almost statuesque, but Jace caught the smallest flicker of something in their posture, a hint of respect or maybe unease. The princess, or whatever title she carried, took a step closer. Her gaze never left the tattoo, tracing it as if reading a language only she understood. Jace felt exposed, though he had no idea why. He had lived with that mark for most of his life, and no one had reacted this way, at least not openly. His mind raced. Was it famous? Was it dangerous? Was it a warning? He opened his mouth, ready to ask a dozen questions, but the words stuck. You know what this is," she said, her voice trembling again, a mixture of awe and something else he couldn't name. She gestured toward him, and for the first time, Jace noticed the insignia on her armor, the intricate designs etched in patterns that matched, in some strange way, his tattoo. The realization hit him slowly, like a tide creeping over the shore. Whatever this mark was, whatever connection it held, it was bigger than him, much bigger. Jace straightened, trying to mask his confusion with curiosity. I'm not sure what you mean," he said, though his voice carried less conviction than he wanted. The princess raised an elegant hand, and her gesture was almost imperceptible, but it carried authority. The other aliens stepped back, creating space, their eyes trained on him with careful intensity. "You carry the mark of the last human hero," she said softly, almost as if the words might break if spoken louder. Her eyes searched his face, looking for a reaction. I never imagined you would survive, that you would be here." The words weren't a question, though Jace felt the weight of a question behind them. Survival, him, it made no sense. My tattoo," he asked. "You mean this?" He flexed his arm, showing the lines once more. The princess's gaze softened, but only slightly, and she shook her head. "It is not just ink. It is a symbol, a map, a warning, a message, and you carry it. You are not like other humans," she added, and the weight of her statement pressed down on him. He had always known humans were underestimated, but he had never imagined that some long-forgotten history could be coming back to claim him. He swallowed hard. Why me? I'm just a mechanic. I fix things. I don't. His words caught again. She interrupted, shaking her head gently. It is not what you do now that matters. It is what you were born to carry, what you were born to remind the galaxy. And the time has come when you must remember. Her words felt like they carried centuries, like the voice of history itself had wrapped around him. Jace's eyes flicked to the others behind her, the soldiers, the aides, the advisors. Their faces betrayed nothing, but he could feel their scrutiny, their calculation. They knew something about him he did not, or perhaps something about the story he was tied to. His stomach twisted. He had never sought adventure. He had never sought recognition. He had only wanted to fix ships, survive, and maybe find a little quiet in a galaxy that was too loud. But it seemed the galaxy had other plans. You must come with me, the princess said finally, the tremble in her voice giving way to a firmness that brooked no refusal. There are things you need to understand, things that have waited for you your entire life. If you refuse, her eyes darkened ever so slightly. If you refuse, the consequences will be dire. Jace took a deep breath, trying to steady his mind. He glanced at his ship, at the tools scattered across the bay, at the small comforts of a life he understood. Then he looked back at her. Her eyes were unwavering, holding his in a gaze that made him feel small and important all at once. The tattoo on his arm seemed to pulse faintly, or perhaps that was just his imagination, a heartbeat in the light of something bigger than himself. He nodded, slow and deliberate. "All right," he said, his voice steady, carrying more courage than he felt. "I'll come." The princess's lips curved into the tiniest hint of a smile, and she motioned for him to follow. As he stepped toward her, leaving the bay and the familiar smells of oil and metal behind, the hum of the engines seemed to fade, replaced by a new sound, the quiet anticipation of a destiny long delayed. The air outside the bay was different. Lighter, sharper, filled with possibilities he could not yet see. They walked through corridors lined with lights that shifted colors with their movement. Jace noticed the walls were almost alive, with patterns that seemed to respond to their presence. The air hummed faintly with energy, and he could feel the weight of eyes, watching, calculating, waiting. The princess moved effortlessly, her steps precise, yet her gaze never left him. It was not just leadership, it was recognition, respect, something older, almost sacred. Finally, they reached a chamber wide and circular, filled with soft blue light. At its center was a hollow projection of a star map, its points flickering like distant flames. The princess gestured toward it. "Here," she said, "this is where your journey begins. This map, your tattoo, they are connected. They are proof that humanity once changed the course of the galaxy and that you are the bridge to its future." Jace stepped closer, staring at the projection. He traced the lines of the stars, feeling a strange resonance with the tattoo on his arm. It was as if his skin and the stars were speaking to each other, telling stories of courage, of sacrifice, of ingenuity that humans had once displayed and now must display again. The realization hit him in waves. He was not just a mechanic, he was a link, a symbol, and the galaxy, whether he wanted it or not, was waiting for him to act. The princess's voice broke through his thoughts. "You may not understand now, human, you may doubt yourself. But history does not wait for doubt. The galaxy remembers, and so must you." She stepped closer, her gaze steady, commanding. "Are you ready to see what humans can do when they refuse to be underestimated?" Jace looked down at his forearm, tracing the tattoo with his fingers one last time. He could feel the weight of legacy pressing against him, heavy yet familiar, like a puzzle he had always been meant to solve. He took a deep breath and lifted his head. "I'm ready," he said, voice firm, heart pounding, mind alert. The princess nodded, satisfied. "Good, then let us begin." As they turned toward the exit of the chamber, leaving the hum of the ancient city behind, Jace felt the first stirrings of something he had not felt in a long time. Purpose. Not the purpose of a mechanic fixing ships, not the purpose of survival, but something larger, something that carried the echoes of human courage across the stars. He had no idea what awaited him, no idea how dangerous it would be, no idea how impossible it might seem. But for the first time, he felt certain of one thing. Humanity would not be underestimated, and he would not fail. The chamber was quiet except for the soft hum of the star map hovering in the center. Jace stepped closer, tracing the intricate lines of light that mirrored the tattoo on his arm. The patterns were more than decoration. They were a map of star systems, each dot a potential point of interest, each line a hidden path across the galaxy. His heart pounded with a mix of fear and excitement. He had spent his life fixing machines, not chasing legends. Yet here he was, standing in a room filled with glowing light, being told that his simple tattoo held the key to a history he had never known. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman, her long, iridescent hair flowing over her sleek silver armor, watched him carefully. Her glowing skin shimmered softly as she moved, her eyes reflecting constellations. She was beautiful in a way that made Jace feel both small and honored. She spoke again, her voice steady now but still carrying the weight of awe. "That tattoo marks you as the last living descendant of humans who once changed the galaxy," she said. "You are the bridge between past and future. Your people once saved countless worlds, and now the galaxy may need you again." Jace shook his head, disbelief written across his face. "I don't understand. I'm just me. I fix engines, I repair ships, I don't save worlds." He felt the weight of his own inadequacy pressing down on him. His life had been ordinary, quiet, and manageable. A hero. That was impossible. Yet the woman's gaze never wavered. She stepped closer, the soft glow from her skin illuminating the chamber. "Ordinary humans do extraordinary things when the universe pushes them. You carry the proof that humans can do what no one else expects. That proof is why you are here." She gestured toward the star map, and the lines shifted as if responding to her touch. "These points," she said, "are systems that once fell under your people's protection. You do not know the full story yet, but your ancestors left messages, hidden devices, and maps. They wanted someone like you to continue their work if the galaxy ever faced the darkness again." Her voice lowered, almost a whisper, and Jace felt a chill. "The darkness is rising. Factions that once threatened entire civilizations are gathering. They think humans are weak, predictable, and insignificant. They are wrong, and you are living proof of their mistake." Jace felt a shiver run down his spine. I don't know if I can do any of this. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do." The alien woman's eyes softened, and she nodded. "You are not alone. You will have help. Some of my people believe in the humans of the past. They believe in you. They will guide you, protect you, and fight alongside you. But you must be willing to learn to act, and to embrace what humans have always been capable of, thinking, adapting, surviving when others fail." He took a deep breath and studied the map again. The lines on the tattoo, faint in the light, seemed to vibrate slightly. He reached out almost instinctively to trace a path on the map, and a small star flickered, responding to his touch. The woman's lips curved into a faint, approving smile. "Yes, you feel it. You are connected. Your ancestors left part of themselves in you. Part of them lives on in that tattoo, and now it is time for you to awaken it fully." The chamber doors slid open suddenly, and the air shifted. A group of alien aides, some armed, some simply observers, entered quietly, their expressions respectful but tense. They stopped a few meters behind the woman, giving her space while keeping their eyes on Jace. He realized that the presence of these people, the careful attention, and the soft but firm stance of the woman in front of him, all pointed to something much larger than he could imagine. He wasn't just meeting an ally, he was stepping into a history that had waited centuries for someone like him. The woman gestured toward one of the aides. "Prepare the ship," she said. "It will carry you through systems humans rarely travel, systems that hold the key to your ancestors' secrets. Time is short. Darkness is rising faster than we expected." She turned back to Jace. "You will not be a passenger. You will be the one guiding us, interpreting the paths and deciding when to act. Your choices will shape more than your future. They will shape the fate of the galaxy." Jace nodded slowly, absorbing the gravity of her words. "So this ship, it's going to take me to places I've never seen, to find things I don't understand. And I'm supposed to what? Lead people I barely know into danger." He swallowed hard. "I can't promise anything." The woman's gaze was unwavering, almost comforting. "You don't need promises, you need courage. Humans have always been underestimated, and they have always surprised those who doubted them. That is why you are here." He looked around at the room once more. The glowing star map, the futuristic technology, the alien aides, and most of all, the young, beautiful humanoid alien woman who seemed to believe in him more than he believed in himself. All of it pressed on him with weight and wonder. He could almost hear the stories of human courage echoing in the silence of the chamber. Stories of survival, of ingenuity, of humans facing impossible odds and refusing to fail. He had never thought of himself as part of that story, but somehow it was true. Somehow it had chosen him. A soft alarm sounded from the star map, a pulsing red light that traveled along the lines of the stars. The woman's expression changed, alert but calm. "It is beginning," she said. "The first signals of the rising threat have appeared. Systems that were stable are showing instability. Our window to act is closing." She motioned toward a smaller shuttle docked at the side of the chamber. Sleek, compact, and fast, it gleamed under the chamber's soft lights. "This shuttle will carry you and your crew. It is equipped with technology that can mask presence, communicate silently, and respond to threats. But it cannot think for you. That part is yours. Your decisions will guide its success." Jace swallowed again, staring at the shuttle as if it held all the answers. He had fixed ships like this before. He knew their mechanics, their limits, but nothing had prepared him for the responsibility that came with piloting one into the unknown with the lives of allies at stake. He could feel the tattoo on his arm, as if it were urging him forward, reminding him that humans had faced impossibilities before and had prevailed. He wasn't just a mechanic. He was a piece of history, a link in a chain that could shape the galaxy's future. The woman stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Your crew will arrive shortly. They are humans and aliens who understand the stakes. They will look to you for guidance, for decisions, for courage. You may doubt yourself, but know this: humans have always thrived where others saw only danger and failure. Your mind, your instincts, your willingness to act, these are your weapons." She reached out, placing a hand near his forearm without touching it. The glow from her skin mingled with the faint shimmer of his tattoo, and Jace felt a surge of resolve. He could not fully explain it, but he knew she was right. Minutes passed, though it felt longer, and finally, a soft vibration resonated through the chamber. The shuttle doors slid open, and figures began to emerge. Humans, young and determined, dressed in practical uniforms, carrying tools and devices. Some aliens, smaller in number but equally skilled, joined them. Their faces reflected anticipation, hope, and cautious trust. Jace realized that these were the people who would follow him, not because they had to, but because they believed that humans could rise above limits. He approached the shuttle, the woman moving beside him. "Once we depart, there will be no turning back," she said. "Every choice matters, every action has consequences, and the universe is watching." Jace nodded, feeling the first real spark of purpose ignite within him. He adjusted his jacket, checked his toolkit, and glanced down at the tattoo. The lines of the stars seemed to shimmer in response, confirming that he was exactly where he needed to be. As he stepped into the shuttle, the engines hummed to life, quiet yet powerful. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman followed, settling into her seat, her glowing skin bathing the interior in soft light. Jace felt a strange calm amidst the chaos, a sense that humans had always been meant for moments like this, where ingenuity, courage, and resilience could tip the balance. He took a deep breath, ready to chart a path no human had ever taken before. The shuttle doors closed, sealing them inside, and the hum of the engines grew stronger. The star map projected faintly in the cockpit, guiding them toward the first coordinates, the first step into a mission that would test every skill, every instinct, every ounce of human ingenuity. Jace's hands rested on the controls, steady now, confident in a way he had never been before. The galaxy awaited, full of unknown dangers and hidden opportunities, and for the first time he felt ready to meet them. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman turned toward him, her expression calm yet determined. "Humans have always been underestimated," she said softly. "Now you will remind the galaxy why they should never be." Jace nodded, gripping the controls tighter, the weight of history and destiny pressing on him in the best way possible. He didn't know what lay ahead, but he knew one thing for certain: humans had never been stronger when the universe thought they were weak. And with that thought, the shuttle lifted, leaving the chamber behind, entering the vast expanse of space, and beginning a journey that would change the galaxy forever. The shuttle drifted silently through the dark expanse of space, its sleek frame reflecting the faint light of distant stars. Jace sat in the pilot's seat, hands resting lightly on the controls, his eyes scanning the star map projected in front of him. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman sat beside him, her long, iridescent hair shimmering in the soft glow of the cockpit. Her glowing skin cast gentle light over the instruments, and her expression remained calm but alert, as if she could see danger long before it arrived. Around them, the rest of the crew moved quietly through the shuttle. A small group of humans, young and determined, checked equipment and recalibrated devices, their faces showing focus and anticipation. A few alien allies, equally skilled, adjusted tactical displays and monitored energy readings. The air hummed with purpose. Jace felt a strange sense of pride, not for himself, but for all of them. Here, in the middle of an unknown system, humans and aliens worked together seamlessly, trusting him to guide them. He had never felt such responsibility, and yet he felt ready. The first coordinates on the star map flickered, highlighting a distant star system. That system, the alien woman said softly, contains one of the hidden archives your ancestors left behind. It is not a fortress. It is a repository of knowledge designed to test those who seek it. Only someone with human intuition can navigate its defenses. She turned her gaze toward him, her glowing eyes steady. You will lead, others will follow, but your instincts will determine success or failure. Jace nodded, gripping the controls. He studied the system carefully. The stars seemed ordinary at first glance, but the map revealed subtle distortions, almost like ripples in space itself. It reminded him of his tattoo, the way its lines connected hidden points across the galaxy. Somehow, he understood that following these hidden paths would require more than skill. It would require thinking differently, improvising, being unpredictable. Humans had always thrived where others relied solely on power and rules. He smiled faintly, the first spark of confidence warming him. As the shuttle approached the system, the first obstacles became clear. Small asteroid fields drifted unpredictably, shimmering with reflected starlight. Energy pulses flashed in random patterns, hinting at hidden mines or sensors. The crew tensed. We'll need precision and timing, Jace said, more to himself than to anyone else. He adjusted the trajectory, weaving the shuttle between the obstacles with careful maneuvers. The human crew helped, recalculating projections, monitoring energy surges, and predicting asteroid movement. The aliens watched, impressed at how the humans anticipated subtle changes the machines could not detect. Hours passed, but the crew worked with seamless efficiency. Jace guided the shuttle through narrow passages, sometimes veering unexpectedly to avoid hidden dangers, trusting instincts over strict protocols. Each decision was critical. One wrong move, and they could be lost in the asteroid field. Yet with every challenge, the humans adapted, finding solutions no algorithm could provide. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman observed quietly, her expression softening with admiration. Humans think differently, she murmured. They see what others cannot, feel what others ignore. That is why you are chosen. Finally, the shuttle emerged from the obstacles, approaching a small, rocky planet orbiting a dim sun. Sensors revealed a hidden base partially buried under layers of mineral rock. The archives were close. This is it, Jace said, relief and tension mingling in his voice. The crew prepared to land, deploying small landing thrusters and stabilizers. The planet's surface was uneven, covered in jagged rocks, but the shuttle adjusted automatically to Jace's commands. Humans and aliens worked in harmony, a team shaped not by familiarity but by trust in one another's abilities. As they touched down, Jace felt a thrill of accomplishment. They had navigated the system successfully, relying on ingenuity, quick thinking, and precise coordination. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman turned to him, her glowing eyes reflecting pride. This is only the beginning, she said. Inside that archive lies knowledge your ancestors left behind. It is protected not by force but by tests of wit and perception. Humans were always capable of seeing beyond the obvious. You must do the same now. Jace took a deep breath and led the crew out of the shuttle. The air on the planet was breathable, faintly metallic, and slightly cold. The rocky terrain stretched before them, dotted with strange crystalline formations that hummed softly with energy. He could feel the connection between the tattoo on his arm and the environment around him, as if the patterns were guiding him, showing the paths, hinting at dangers and solutions. The crew followed silently, trusting his judgment. The entrance to the archive was concealed, almost invisible to casual observation. Jace examined the crystalline formations, noticing subtle energy flows and slight vibrations in the rocks. There, he said, pointing to a narrow passageway that seemed to shift when viewed from different angles. The aliens and humans alike looked skeptical at first, but when Jace stepped forward and touched the crystals, the entrance revealed itself, a shimmering doorway appearing as though the rocks themselves had parted for him. Inside, the archive was a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers, filled with faintly glowing symbols and holographic projections. The air was thick with the weight of knowledge, ancient and precise. Jace led the crew carefully, reading the subtle signs and guiding them through passages that seemed to change if approached incorrectly. Every turn was a test, designed not to harm, but to challenge intuition and perception. The humans adapted, using reasoning, improvisation, and observation to stay ahead. The aliens followed, learning to rely on Jace's instincts as much as their own technology. Hours turned into days as they navigated deeper into the archive. Each chamber revealed fragments of history, maps of star systems, records of human diplomacy, technological schematics, and warnings about threats long past. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman assisted by translating symbols and connecting dots the humans could not yet see, but it was Jace's instincts that guided them successfully. "Your ancestors," she said softly one night as they rested in a chamber lit by faint blue energy, "left these archives because they knew someone would come who could see beyond limits. That someone is you." Jace, exhausted but focused, studied the maps and symbols. The tattoo on his arm seemed to resonate with the holographic displays, aligning with hidden paths and secret compartments. He realized that this was more than history, it was strategy. Humans had always used creativity and unpredictability to survive, and now, these archives were a way to pass that skill across generations. He felt a surge of pride, not arrogance, but understanding of what humans had always been capable of when underestimated. Suddenly, an alert echoed through the archive. Energy spikes, faint vibrations, and shifting symbols warned of an approaching threat. Jace's instincts kicked in immediately. "We are not alone," he said, his voice calm but urgent. The crew readied themselves, humans adjusting devices, aliens preparing energy shields. The archive itself seemed alive, responding to potential danger. Hidden doors sealed, tunnels shifted, and holographic patterns changed to confuse intruders. It was a test of perception, and Jace guided the crew through with precision, relying on both his instincts and the knowledge gleaned from the archives. Hours passed, the tension mounting, but the humans adapted, responding faster than the automated defenses could anticipate. Jace moved confidently, guiding them through illusions and false paths. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman followed closely, assisting with translations and monitoring energy readings, her eyes wide with admiration and awe. "Humans are remarkable," she said quietly. "Even when faced with things beyond understanding, they adapt, improvise, and survive. That is why your people were legendary." By the time they reached the central chamber of the archive, exhaustion weighed heavily on all of them, but a sense of accomplishment was stronger. The chamber contained a core console, a repository of knowledge pulsing with energy. Jace approached and placed his hand near the holographic interface. The tattoo on his arm glowed faintly, aligning perfectly with the console. A sequence of lights and symbols flowed across the display, revealing star charts, hidden devices, and messages from human ancestors. The knowledge was immense, but it was designed to be interpreted by someone who could think, adapt, and see patterns beyond the obvious. Jace smiled faintly, the weight of history settling on his shoulders but not crushing him. Humans had always faced challenges, obstacles, and enemies who underestimated them. They had always survived, adapted, and prevailed. Now he understood the responsibility he carried. This was not just about survival, it was about proving once again that humans could rise where others saw limits. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman stood beside him, her glow illuminating the chamber. "You have passed the first test," she said. "The archive recognizes your ability to see, think, and act. The galaxy will test you further, but now you have the tools, the knowledge, and the confidence. Humans have always thrived where others doubted them. You are no different." Jace nodded, feeling a surge of determination. The crew gathered around, exhausted but alive, ready to continue the journey. The first test had been passed, but he knew many more awaited. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers, and the rising darkness would not wait. Yet for the first time, he felt the quiet thrill of purpose. Humans had survived impossible odds before, and he would ensure that history remembered that humans could not be underestimated. As they prepared to leave the archive, Jace glanced at the tattoo on his arm one last time. It was more than a mark. It was a guide, a connection, a legacy of ingenuity, courage, and resilience. The galaxy was vast, the mission perilous, but the humans aboard the shuttle were ready. And for the first time, Jace felt certain that they could succeed where others would fail, that human cleverness and courage would continue to shape the fate of the stars. The journey continued, with stars stretching endlessly ahead, filled with challenges, hidden threats, and opportunities for brilliance. Jace took a deep breath, gripping the controls, ready to lead the humans and allies through trials no one else could navigate. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman observed him with quiet pride, knowing that humans were capable of more than anyone had imagined. Together, they would face what lay ahead, and together they would remind the galaxy why humans were never to be underestimated. The shuttle approached the alien capital, a sprawling city of towers and domes that glowed softly under the light of multiple suns. From space, the city appeared serene, almost peaceful, but the sensors hummed with warning signals. The coalition forces were already moving, ships forming tight formations around the system, their presence unmistakable. Jace's hands rested lightly on the controls, his eyes scanning the enemy positions. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman beside him, her long, iridescent hair flowing over her sleek silver armor, studied the tactical readouts with quiet intensity. Her glowing skin reflected the soft blue light of the console, highlighting the worry and determination in her expression. "They're preparing for a full assault," she said softly, her voice steady despite the tension. "They have underestimated humans before, but this time they believe you are vulnerable. They are wrong." Jace nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle over him like a physical force. The crew behind him, humans and aliens alike, were quiet, focused, ready to follow his decisions. The city below, full of life and history, relied on their ability to defend it. The stakes were higher than anything he had ever faced. The shuttle docked on a landing platform atop one of the central towers. From there, they could see the coalition fleet amassing in the distance. Jace stepped out, adjusting his jacket, his hands steady but tense. Around him, the humans checked weapons, devices, and shields, while the aliens readied defensive systems. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman moved beside him, her glowing skin and shimmering hair marking her as both a leader and a symbol of hope. "We need to hold them until reinforcements arrive," she said. "But brute force alone will not win this battle. We must use strategy, improvisation, and the human ability to see what others cannot." Jace's mind raced. The city was full of defenses, but the coalition forces were larger and better equipped. Ordinary tactics would fail. He began scanning the surrounding towers, the streets, and the approach routes. The humans under his command worked quickly, adjusting energy shields, placing sensors, and setting traps. They moved like a well-oiled machine, improvising on the spot as Jace issued instructions. Even the alien allies watched in surprise as humans suggested unconventional solutions that no computer algorithm had predicted. Hours passed, and the first wave of the coalition forces arrived. Ships swooped down in formation, releasing smaller attack drones. Energy beams lit the sky, reflecting off the city towers, while alarms echoed throughout the streets. Jace guided the humans, instructing them to use their environment to create obstacles and traps that slowed the enemy. They used narrow alleyways, unstable structures, and reflective surfaces to confuse and misdirect. The aliens were impressed, following the humans' lead in ways they had never anticipated. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman moved among the crew, assisting with tactical decisions, translating data, and coordinating energy shields. Her eyes shone with admiration for the human ingenuity she saw in action. Despite the chaos, Jace felt a strange calm. He relied on instinct, improvisation, and the knowledge gleaned from the archives they had recovered. The tattoo on his arm, faintly glowing, seemed to guide him, reminding him of the strategies his ancestors had once used. Every maneuver, every choice, every unexpected action kept the coalition forces at bay. Humans were unpredictable in ways the enemy had not accounted for. Jace smiled faintly as one of his traps disabled a swarm of drones before they could reach the city's surface. The battle escalated, Enemy forces deployed ground troops, and Jace led the humans through defensive positions, using improvised barricades and hidden tunnels to funnel the attackers. The city's residents, those who could be evacuated, watched from a distance, witnessing humans and aliens fighting side by side, turning the impossible into success after success. Jace felt pride not for himself, but for everyone following him. Humans had always been underestimated, and here they were, proving once again that creativity, courage, and adaptability mattered more than sheer power. As night fell over the alien capital, the energy of the city transformed. Towers glowed brighter, energy shields pulsed, and the enemy forces found themselves trapped in a maze of human-devised obstacles. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman moved beside Jace on the command platform, her glowing skin reflecting the city lights. "You are extraordinary," she said softly. "Humans have always been clever, but watching you lead, it is remarkable. You see possibilities that others miss, paths others cannot perceive. That is why your people were once legendary." Jace nodded, though he felt tired. Hours of guiding the defense, improvising tactics, and keeping the crew coordinated had worn him down. Yet there was no time to rest. The enemy had not yet revealed its full strength. Sensors indicated a massive ship approaching the city, larger than anything they had faced before. Its weapons were devastating, capable of destroying entire blocks in seconds. The human crew looked to Jace, their eyes filled with trust and anticipation. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman placed a hand on his shoulder, steadying him. "We will need your mind more than your hands," she said. "Humans adapt where others fail. You will find a way." Jace studied the approaching ship, noting its weak points and patterns. He recalled the archives and the lessons hidden within, the strategies his ancestors had used to turn impossible situations into victories. He instructed the crew to deploy energy reflectors, redirecting the massive ship's initial attacks into false paths. Small squads of humans and aliens set up mobile shields, using the city's structures as cover. The coalition forces were surprised, caught off guard by the unpredictability of the defense. Jace felt the surge of adrenaline that came from improvisation, the thrill of turning odds against him into a potential victory. Hours stretched into a tense night of skirmishes, traps, and clever maneuvers. Jace guided the humans, predicting enemy movements, improvising defenses, and pushing the capabilities of everyone involved. Each small victory built confidence, both in the humans and in their alien allies. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman observed quietly, stepping in only to advise or coordinate when necessary, her admiration for human ingenuity growing with every successful maneuver. "Humans are capable of more than even the oldest records suggest," she said softly. "And you are their example." Finally, the massive enemy ship reached the city's center. Jace had anticipated this. He had noticed structural weaknesses and hidden energy conduits from his study of the city's design and the archive's guidance. Using the shuttle systems and human ingenuity, he guided small strike teams to exploit these weaknesses. Energy channels overloaded, defensive traps activated, and the enemy ship faltered, its massive weapons misfiring due to unexpected interference. The coalition forces were stunned. Humans had turned the tide, using intelligence and improvisation instead of brute force. By the time dawn broke over the alien capital, the battle had shifted. The enemy forces retreated, surprised and disoriented by the humans' ingenuity. The city, though battered, remained intact. Humans and aliens had proven that cleverness and adaptability could rival power and numbers. Jace stepped onto a balcony overlooking the city, exhausted but exhilarated. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman joined him, her glowing presence reassuring and warm. "You have done what many thought impossible," she said. "You have reminded the galaxy why humans should never be underestimated." Jace looked at the skyline, towers damaged but still standing, citizens looking toward the horizon with hope. "We didn't just survive," he said quietly. "We turned the impossible into a chance. That's what humans do." "That's what we've always done." The woman nodded, placing a hand gently on his arm, her touch warm despite her glowing skin. "And now the galaxy will remember it once more." The battle was not over, but the first victory had been claimed. Jace knew more challenges awaited, but he also knew that humans, with their ingenuity, courage, and ability to see beyond the obvious, had a place in shaping the galaxy. The crew gathered around, exhausted but alive, and for the first time, Jace felt a true sense of purpose. They had survived the siege, turned the impossible into reality, and reminded everyone watching that humans were never weak. As the sun rose fully over the alien capital, its light reflecting off energy shields and towers, Jace felt the quiet thrill of accomplishment. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman stood beside him, her eyes glowing softly in admiration. "This is only the beginning," she said. "The galaxy still faces threats, but now humans have shown what they can do, and you are at the center of it." Jace looked down at the tattoo on his arm, faintly glowing in the morning light. It was a symbol of heritage, of history, of ingenuity passed down through generations. It reminded him that humans, though underestimated, had always risen to meet impossible odds. And now, with the alien woman's guidance, the crew's trust, and the knowledge of his ancestors, he felt ready to face whatever came next. The galaxy had begun to see humanity in a new light. They had seen what humans could do when counted out, underestimated, or ignored. And Jace knew that the greatest challenges were yet to come, but so were the greatest opportunities. He took a deep breath, the hum of the city, the quiet energy of the shields, and the rising sun all filling him with resolve. Humans had survived before. Humans had prevailed before. And humans, led by ingenuity, courage, and unpredictability, would continue to shape the galaxy in ways no one else could. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman smiled beside him, her hair flowing in the morning breeze, glowing softly. "Rest now," she said. "Tomorrow the next phase begins. The galaxy will test us further, but humans are ready." Jace nodded, feeling the weight of his role, but also the thrill of possibility. They had survived the siege. They had proven their worth. And the galaxy would never underestimate humans again. The galaxy was quiet before the storm, but Jace knew the silence was temporary. From the shuttle, he watched the enemy fleet gather near the edge of the star system. Massive ships, bristling with weapons, moved in tight formation, their dark hulls reflecting distant starlight. They had underestimated humans once, and now they believed they were facing a force that could be crushed easily. Jace felt the familiar surge of focus that had carried him through every trial so far. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman sat beside him, her glowing skin illuminating the cockpit, her long, iridescent hair flowing over her sleek armor. Her eyes were calm but intense, reflecting the weight of what was to come. "They believe they can take this system with brute force," she said softly, her voice steady but filled with quiet urgency. "They do not understand what humans are capable of. That will be their mistake." Jace nodded, studying the enemy formation. The crew behind him, a mixture of humans and aliens, moved with quiet precision, preparing shields, recalibrating weapons, and checking energy conduits. This was not just a battle. It was a test of strategy, creativity, and courage. Humans had always excelled where others relied only on strength. Today, they would prove it again. The first wave of enemy ships advanced, firing energy beams that lit the void. Jace adjusted the shuttle's trajectory, weaving between attacks while coordinating defensive barriers. Small teams of humans deployed drones that disrupted the enemy sensors, creating confusion. The aliens followed his lead, their advanced technology complementing human unpredictability. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman monitored the shields, advising when to redirect power and when to conserve it. Together, they formed a combination no enemy had expected: intelligence, improvisation, and determination. Hours passed as the skirmish escalated. Jace guided the crews through maneuvers that no computer or alien strategist could have predicted. Humans improvised paths through asteroid fields, diverted energy beams using reflective shields, and set traps that caused the enemy ships to collide or misfire. The enemy forces faltered, their confidence shaken. Jace felt a surge of pride, not arrogance, but understanding of the power of human ingenuity. They were underestimated once again, and they would use that to turn the battle in their favor. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman moved beside him, her expression glowing with admiration. "Humans have always found a way," she said softly. "Even when all seems lost, your people adapt, improvise, and overcome. That is why you are at the center of this battle. That is why the galaxy remembers you." Jace nodded, focusing on the tactical readouts. Every decision mattered. Every maneuver, every calculated risk, every small trap or diversion could change the outcome of this massive conflict. Suddenly, a massive enemy ship broke formation and charged toward the central command hub of the alien capital. Its weapons could destroy entire towers with a single strike. The human crew looked to Jace, waiting for guidance. He analyzed the situation quickly, noticing weak points in the ship's structure and patterns in its weapon firing. "We'll need a diversion," he said, voice calm but urgent. "Send drones to the left, mask our energy signature, and lure it toward the outer defenses. We'll use the city's architecture against it." The team moved swiftly, following his instructions. Energy barriers shifted, drones activated, and the enemy ship responded, following the bait. Jace guided a small strike team to intercept, targeting structural vulnerabilities. The humans worked with precision, timing every action to coincide with the enemy's own mistakes. The aliens marveled at the coordination, noting how human improvisation turned chaos into control. The massive ship faltered, its weapons misfiring, and for the first time the enemy realized they were facing more than just defenses. They were facing cleverness, unpredictability, and courage. Meanwhile, smaller skirmishes erupted across the city. Humans and aliens moved in tandem, defending key points, sabotaging enemy drones, and improvising barriers from the city's structures. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman coordinated energy shields, sometimes stepping into danger herself to redirect power or reinforce weak points. Jace watched her with admiration and trust. Together, they were proving a truth that humans had always known: ingenuity and courage could overcome seemingly impossible odds. As the battle raged on, the shuttle moved toward the outer ring of the city. Jace analyzed energy patterns and noticed a hidden flaw in the enemy formation. "If we exploit that gap," he said, pointing to a narrow passage between two asteroid fields, "we can cut off their reinforcements and isolate the command ship. It's risky, but it's our best chance." The humans and aliens prepared, following his lead with quiet confidence. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman nodded approvingly. "You see what others cannot," she said. "That is human vision. That is why you are here." Jace led the team through the passage, avoiding energy, fire, and debris. The enemy command ship had no way to anticipate the maneuver. The strike teams moved in, deploying precise attacks that targeted weak points and disrupted shields. The humans improvised constantly, adjusting in real time, predicting enemy reactions, and staying one step ahead. The alien allies followed, amazed at the humans' ability to read patterns and act decisively under pressure. Finally, the command ship faltered. Its massive weapons misfired, its shields weakened, and the city's defenses focused on its core. Jace coordinated the final strike, combining human ingenuity and alien technology to disable the ship. The explosion was massive but controlled, designed to minimize damage to the city. The enemy fleet, seeing their command ship destroyed, began to retreat. The humans and aliens had won, not by brute force alone, but through cleverness, adaptability, and courage. Jay stood on the balcony of the central tower as the enemy forces withdrew. The city, though scarred, remained standing. Citizens emerged cautiously, looking toward the skyline with hope and gratitude. Humans and aliens gathered on the platforms and streets, exhausted but victorious. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman joined him, her glowing skin shimmering in the morning light. "You have done it," she said softly. "You have reminded the galaxy why humans should never be underestimated." Jace looked out over the city, the sun rising over towers and energy fields, and felt a sense of pride that went beyond himself. Humans had faced impossible odds before, and now they had proven that courage, intelligence, and creativity could overcome even the largest threats. He glanced at his tattoo, faintly glowing in the morning light, and realized that it was more than a mark. It was a legacy, a symbol of what humans could do when underestimated. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman placed a hand on his shoulder. "Rest now," she said. "There will be other challenges, but today, humanity has reminded the galaxy of its strength. Today, humans have shown that ingenuity, courage, and adaptability are weapons no one can predict." Jace nodded, feeling the exhaustion of the battle, but also the quiet thrill of triumph. In the following days, the galaxy began to take notice. Messages of humans, clever tactics, their coordination with alien allies, and their unexpected victories spread across star systems. Jace and the crew were celebrated not as soldiers, but as strategists, innovators and proof that humans could rise to challenges where others would fail. Even the young, beautiful humanoid alien woman, who had long admired human ingenuity, now spoke openly of the humans' abilities to other leaders, praising their courage and adaptability. Jace, though exhausted, took a moment to reflect. He had started as a simple mechanic, repairing ships in a quiet bay. Now he had led humans and aliens through tests, battles, and impossible odds. He had learned that humans were capable of much more than brute strength. They thrived on creativity, quick thinking, and the ability to see what others could not. The galaxy had underestimated them for centuries, and now humans had proven that they could not be ignored. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman stood beside him, her glowing presence reassuring and calm. "You have done more than survive," she said softly. "You have inspired hope. You have reminded the galaxy that humans have always been remarkable." "That legacy will continue," Jace nodded, feeling the truth in her words. He looked down at his tattoo, tracing the lines with his eyes, and understood fully that it was a symbol of resilience, ingenuity, and courage. A legacy that had survived across generations and now found expression in him. As the sun rose fully over the alien capital, casting warm light across towers and shields, Jace felt a sense of closure and accomplishment. Humans had faced impossible odds before, and now they had once again proven their worth. The crew gathered around, weary but proud, knowing that they had not only defended the city but reminded the galaxy of a simple truth. Humans should never be underestimated. Jace turned to the young, beautiful humanoid alien woman, his expression calm but firm. "We've shown them," he said quietly. "Humans are clever, adaptable, and capable of anything when needed. They'll remember this." She smiled, placing a hand on his arm, her glowing skin warm against his jacket. "Yes," she said softly, "and your journey is only beginning. Humans will continue to rise, to inspire, to challenge expectations. That is your legacy." For the first time, Jace felt the full weight of that legacy, not as a burden but as a purpose. The galaxy was vast, filled with challenges and unknown threats, but he knew that humans had the ingenuity, courage, and resilience to face anything. The battle was over, the city safe, and the crew united, but the story of humans, rise across the stars, was only beginning. He took a deep breath, looking at the horizon where sunlight glinted off energy shields and towers. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman stood beside him, her long, iridescent hair catching the morning light, glowing softly. "Rest," she said gently. "But know that humans will be ready for whatever comes next. That is the gift of ingenuity and courage. That is why humans are never to be underestimated." Jace smiled faintly, placing a hand over his tattoo. It pulsed softly, as if acknowledging his understanding. Humans had faced impossible odds before. Humans had adapted, survived, and risen. And now, humans had reminded the galaxy that they were a force of creativity, courage, and resilience. The galaxy had learned a lesson it would not forget, and Jace, once a simple mechanic, now stood as a symbol of that enduring human spirit. As the crew celebrated quietly, the city slowly returning to life, Jace allowed himself a rare moment of reflection. The battles, the tests, and the victories had taught him more than any manual or star map ever could. Humans thrived in unpredictability. They turned the impossible into the possible, and they had the courage to face the unknown, wherever it might lead. The young, beautiful humanoid alien woman placed a hand gently on his shoulder one last time. "The galaxy is vast, the challenges many, but humans are ready. And you, human, have reminded everyone why they should never be underestimated." Jace nodded, looking out at the stars with a quiet determination. The journey was far from over, but humanity's light, ingenuity, and courage would continue to shine across the galaxy.